You're listening to the Visionary Lifestyle Podcast, the show that's dedicated to raising consciousness and empowering you to activate your highest potential. I'm your host, Magda Freedom Rod. Our guest today is Richa Prasant. Richa was an HR executive in the corporate world with Hewlett Packard for years when a deeper calling pulled her away. Today, she's the founder and director of the Sunaayy Foundation in Delhi, India. She's practicing karma yoga. In case you're not familiar with that, karma means action. So this is the yoga of taking action that creates a positive result. In the West, we have a common heartbreaking mental image of the starving children in the streets of India. Those of us awake enough to be moved by this issue often feel helpless. I know I did when I was sitting in a car in Delhi and lots of shoeless little children with runny noses came to the window begging for money. Thankfully, Richa Prasant is answering the call to meet the needs of some of these children who are coming from the slums in Delhi and is providing a way for us Westerners to be involved as well. She says she considers herself to be a privileged Indian, recognizing that she's been afforded many of the needs and luxuries not available to the majority of Indians today. With this perspective, she felt called to share her good fortune and has created a foundation to offer support to these kids. The Sunaayy Foundation provides some structure for the kids in the form of regular gatherings, which include some basic education and nourishment, as well as a sense of belonging and community. Sunaayy Foundation is more community than spiritually oriented. I'll let Richa explain more about how the kids are benefiting from her programs. I was honored to be invited to celebrate Holi with Richa and her kids. Holi is a big holiday and celebration in India. It marks the first day of spring and is seen as a chance to restart, forgive, forget, make food, celebrate. It feels a bit like New Year's Eve. I joined with Richa and the kids in throwing colorful powder all over each other while laughing and dancing. And while it was fun to see the kids enjoying themselves, I have to say that at times and in certain little faces, I could sense an underlying unrest and distress. Make sure to check out the blog on the website for some of the photos of our day together. What Richa is learning while practicing her karma yoga with these kids is that when you give, you actually receive. And in this case, Richa says she's receiving unconditional love. If you're as moved by this story as I am, there may be some way for you to help. The Sunaayy Foundation needs YouTube support, video editing, and cash donations. If you can provide any of those, get in touch with Richa. She'll be so grateful for your help. As always, there are links in the show notes to everything we talked about in the episode, and you can find that at visionary-lifestyle.com/podcast. Many thanks for listening. I hope this episode inspires some karma yoga in you. Namaste. Welcome to the show, Richa Prasant.
Thank you so much.
You're the founder of a beautiful foundation called Sunaayy Foundation here in Delhi, India.
Yes.
And we've just got to share some time together with the children that you're in service to. Such a beautiful afternoon. We've been celebrating Holi, the Holi holiday with the children here, and we can get a little more into that. But I want to just set the listeners up to understand that today we're talking about karma yoga. And the Visionary Lifestyle is the umbrella that I put everything under. And yoga is such a big umbrella that many things fall under. And one of the steps that I always want to encourage people to bring more into their lives is service, or as we say in India, seva. So you're doing a tremendous seva and service to the children here with your foundation. And I'd love to learn more about the foundation itself and your journey, how it started. You've said to me that it's your calling to do this work. And, I think it's very well known around the world that there are a lot of children in India that need support and need help. And you're one of the beautiful souls that is stepping up to help fill their needs. So please, let's start with you telling us what Sunaayy Foundation is and does.
Thank you, Magda. It's wonderful to have you as a part of our celebrations on Holi. It's a very important festival, and we really celebrated it in a big way. And glad you could be a part of it. About Sunaayy, it started around 8 years back when I was working with Hewlett Packard, and I was somehow not liking the corporate world. And as a child, I have seen being Indian, still the privileged Indian, to get everything in life, but to be growing up with people who got nothing. So that's been my background. Maybe in the subconscious mind, it stayed on. And as I grew up and moved to different cities, studied, got married, had children, I still felt I need to do something more for myself than just a corporate job, earning money and raising children. Things that we typically do just for ourselves, but there's something more I could do. And it just happened that I had to leave my work. My project was moving out of Delhi. So I thought, okay, this is the right time. I could just start, although I had no experience of doing a social service as such in a bigger platform. But just things just happened. I got, I met some people, and I saw these children loitering around in the streets of Delhi midday, doing nothing, begging, stealing, or just having fun. I thought that while our country gives the poor people, the underprivileged people, or even the lower middle class people this opportunity to get into schools which are free of cost, but there are still so many on the roads not going. So I thought I must try and engage with them, teach them something. And as we were engaging with these children, we just realized that there are so many of them who don't go to schools. And the reason why they don't go to schools is because their parents both are working and they have siblings to take care. They do all the household activities, all the work, washing, cooking, cleaning. So they would never learn anything in life, as in the education part of it, the formal education system. They would never be a part of it. So we kept on, pulling these children out of their houses, encouraging them, cajoling them, giving them some biscuits or chocolates, where they, gradually they found an interest to come here and learn. And our numbers from 10, it grew on to 30 and then to 70. And over these 8 years, we have almost met around 700-800 children who've come. Some have gone back to mainstream education. So our concept is to get these children to come to us, to our learning centers. We teach them and put them back to the mainstream education. So some have gone back to the schools, some have moved out of the city, so they have gone back to their villages. Some have moved to a different location with their parents. So they are not with us, but in the last 8 years, the journey has been fantastic, and I have met some amazing people who helped me. Initially, yes, I was the only person doing it alone, but last 8 years, people have just come from nowhere. There could be days I had no money to feed the children. Somebody would come from somewhere and give me food or some money to buy something for the children, and it's been a blessing, and somebody is guiding me here. Everything looks very unstructured here, but still something is so structured that it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop, just continues to grow. And we run this foundation totally on the concept of volunteering, where we expect and we encourage people like me, the privileged Indian, to come and spend some time. So the background work of the foundation is totally through volunteering. And over the years, especially in the last 3-4 years, we have also seen that the children from the privileged backgrounds also come and spend time volunteering here. So which is a big thing for us, where we can put this desire to be one in the generation who's privileged, and to come and share that space with the underprivileged one, and with the thought that they are not different in any way, and the learning for both of them is equal. So that's been a fantastic journey for us, and the teachers who come and teach as women, they feel so empowered to be, finding identity beyond their husbands and fathers. So they feel that they are teaching children, and they take so much of pride in doing that, which they had never thought. So in so many ways, although we thought that we're just teaching children, but now it's become a platform. We are encouraging volunteering, we are encouraging the younger generation to come and volunteer, we are empowering the women. So the impact this work has, it's going into so many dimensions, and I can only be fortunate to somebody who's guiding me to do this, and I'm only grateful.
Thank you so much. I love that you said it was a call for you to do this work. So can you talk more about that? I mean, just you would see the children in the street, and it was like unavoidable for you to just move in this direction and just figure out a way to help them.
Yes, so I think as a child I was not really a person who would enjoy parties and dancing and drinking. So I have really not enjoyed, so I've always been an outcast from the typical ways of enjoyment. And whenever I saw these people, I thought that I could, so at a personal level I still could help people who are working for me. I could help their children go back to school and all that, but I was still not very happy with the kind of life I was just leading, which was so concentrated to my family, my children only. So when I got this opportunity and the way things unfolded, we have this makeshift class. We don't have any structure. So we have these classes under trees in parks. So it's a makeshift arrangement. Kids, teachers, we all come together every morning. We make the classes, we dismantle after 2.5 hours. So it's a brilliant, easy, a cost-effective method to teach children, where we don't disrupt their lifestyle. And we as people, we can manage our own lives and still value add for ourselves and for these people.
Right.
So this has been a phenomenal journey for me, and for me that I can do this again, I can only feel that I am fortunate here to be walking this path.
Right.
And I'm very happy about it.
Yeah, it's beautiful to witness you and to see the children and to be immersed in it. I took a lot of photos today, so I'll be adding a photo album to this story when I publish it for the blog, so people can have the visual of what's going on here. And this truly is karma yoga, right? So what's your understanding of karma yoga? Can you define karma yoga?
Yes, so as Indians, we believe that our outward actions, whatever we do, is karma. This is what my guru also tells me. So
your guru is Sadhguru?
Yes.
Okay.
So I follow Isha and Sadhguru's blessings, and the way he has altered my life to a different dimension now in the last 3 years has been phenomenal. And it's been the last 3 years where Sunaayy has really taken the next step to grow, expand centers, get more children, get more people involved. So certainly it's his blessing somewhere where he's guiding me to do things in a bigger way now, and we are looking out for people to come and help us support to make this thing bigger. As far as karma is concerned, the fact that I can still do something which makes me so happy.
Yeah.
And it's my outward action.
Right. Karma means action.
Yes.
Right?
And with these children, when they come, hug me, and they'll ask me that why didn't you come today? If I'm traveling or if I've not been to a center, the fact they can come and ask me that I'm not going to come if you don't come, that sense of attachment, or that sense
belonging.
of that they feel that I am theirs is blissful. So if this is my karma, I am again privileged here.
Yeah. This is what I really want people to get, this nugget that when I talk about in my first episode for the show, I laid out the 7 steps to activating your highest potential as a human being in this body on this planet at this time. And like I said earlier, one of those steps is seva, service. So the thing I want people to get from this is that when you give, you actually receive.
Oh yes, totally. And I really want to share this, that last year I was going through some personal breakdown, and I decided at the beginning of the year, when we decide that okay, this year I'm going to not do a few things and decide on what I would be. So my wish list was that this year 2016 I'm going to collect things which money cannot buy. And I had personally decided that I'm going to spend very less money on buying things for myself, spend less money on shopping and eating outside, but collect and make a note of these small experiences, which no matter how much money I spend, I'll never get. And again, through this platform of Sunaayy, it's not just the last 1 year or 2 years, the last 8 years, it's been humongous. If I just see the fact that I met you, Magda, here, and the way you've come here is again through a volunteer who spent time 4 years back in Sunaayy, and we've been connected. So the fact that people who come here see what we are trying to do and keep it so simple, maybe that simplicity and the honesty is what attracts people and keeps them bonded with us. So for me, things that I've collected, which really cannot be quantified, and it's again a blessing.
Yeah,
I'm so fortunate about it.
Yeah, well, what I see you receiving a lot of is love.
Yeah. And it's unconditional love.
Right.
It's unconditional love, and here we believe that we always do things for people expecting something in return, or we only do for people whom we know, as in our family or friends. Here there are people, I can't even think that maybe in 2 years time or 1 year, maybe 6 months, they will go somewhere. So it's just a doing, where even if they don't give me anything in return, but if their lives become little better, I think our mission as Sunaayy Foundation is fulfilled in that sense.
Yeah. So getting a little more specifically into what you are providing for them, I know it doesn't have a lot of structure, but from what I understand, you have sort of chaperones or guardians that go around to their homes. Your father told me the name of they live in these shacks around town, right? Which is called
slum areas.
Slum areas. But your father gave this shack another name. I started with an S. Suni or something. Jugi. Yeah. So they live in Jugi, which is like these little slum clusters, okay, that you see around town. So, I mean, for an American coming here, of course, it's the most heartbreaking thing. You're sitting in a car in Delhi traffic, and this little child just walks up to your window and starts motioning like they need some food, And I've been warned as an American not to give them money, because that just keeps them out of school, right? Because the money just goes home to the parents and keeps them out of school. So your heart breaks, and it's like, what can I do? How can I help them? If I have food, I can give them food. That would be helpful, right? But you're the one that's stepping up to take care of these children that we see in the traffic. So what you do is you have, and correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, but you have guardians that go around and collect them and walk them, escort them safely to the park where you meet, and you provide them some basic education, ABCs, 1, 2, 3s, these kinds of things, right? That lay the foundation for them, so that once they receive a bit of that, maybe they can get into one of the government schools, right?
Yes.
And then you also provide food for them. You're making a meal for them every day.
Yes, we give them little snack, maybe a biscuit or a banana or some milk. So it depends on what people have given us to be given to them.
Okay.
And we normally have these teachers from the slum cluster, but they are all literate people, and we provide this facility that the children come escorted and go back, so they're not left loitering around on the roads, or getting into any kind of wrong habit. And the teachers who come are the contact point for me between the children and the parents. So the parents know that these teachers have taken their children to a specific place and they are exposed to some learning. So our philosophy is that while we're not running a regular school, we are just help it for the government, where we are trying to teach these children, show them some light to education, and if they see the benefit and their family see the benefit, then we put them back to mainstream education. So the children should not be left out from the basics, where when they grow up somebody can cheat on them and make a fool of them. So at least the basic math and the English and the Hindi, what we speak locally here in India. So we want them to at least understand that much, so that they're not fooled, that
so they're not taken advantage of.
Exactly.
It empowers them. Empowers them.
And
to some
the
degree.
volunteers who come to teach also, expose them to some GK, general knowledge, some science, some social studies, something about the globe, what's happening around the world. So they're not totally left out from what's happening. Right now the world is connected so much that they understand, but they still can't join the dots.
Right.
So maybe these people come and expose them, maybe through videos, through YouTube, through books. There is so much happening that we try to connect them, and they don't feel left out and disconnected from what's really happening and how the world is progressive right now. So
Right. So to expand their world a bit beyond what they know, which is just this tiny little microcosm, right, of their reality, and helping them understand that there's a much bigger world out there and they can play a part in it, and hopefully empowering them. I love the idea of how it gives them this sense of belonging. They have somewhere to go every day. This is a Monday through Friday program, right? So they know they have somewhere to go, and I'm sure they're making friends, and they get a little food, and they have it's building a community for them.
Yeah.
So what's the average time that a child will stay with your program?
So the average time, typically on a daily basis, the kids spend 3.5 hours with us. And typically, if you have to look at the time span a child spends with us, would be between 3 years, 2.5 years to 3 years. But what, Magda, you would have seen today, there were a lot of older children. Those kids looked bigger in size.
Right.
So these are the children who came to us 5 years back, and they have grown up, and some of them actually go to the government schools. And whenever we have these festivals or little occasions, we also invite them back. So it's also giving the flag or the responsibility in their hands to spread our word, to feel connected with us, that yes, this place still belongs to you, even though you have gone to a different place. But you come back, we open, we are there with open arms to receive you. And I don't know how your experience was, but you would have seen the kids coming and hugging me, and the teachers dancing. We were dancing, we were having fun, we ate together. So that's again, these festivals, these occasions, help us to get the older children back. Also ensure that they are not in wrong hands, not into wrong habits. And we can reinforce the fact that you should be studying at this point in time, listening to your parents, not getting into wrong habits. So, and it's a beautiful thing when you see the little kid who was 5 years old, after 4 years he's 9 or 10, going to a school, and he'll come back and say hello and ask, how are you doing? Which is such a beautiful feeling of completeness.
That accomplishes your mission, right?
Exactly.
Of getting them to the point where they
and
can go.
The fact that they still remember to come back, and come back happy, which is the most beautiful feeling, when you see those smiles in their faces, and they'll just come and hug you and ask you how are you doing, because if you don't get to see them on a daily basis, but they certainly do come, and that makes us so happy and contented.
Yes, I can imagine. Well, everybody was definitely having fun today, and I did take a lot of pictures of everybody was dancing, and I was dancing with the children, and there was a moment when my heart was just really exploding with joy in that, just being able to share in that joy with them, and seeing you with the children and all the teachers, and everybody seemed really joyful, and I think it's so valuable to them to have that community, to have something beyond what their life normally is.
Yes,
and
true.
And that basic education, I'm sure it makes a big difference for them in the long term, especially some of them are so tiny, they look like they're 3 years old.
Yeah, so these 3 years old are children whose parents are working, and they are left with their older siblings. So we encourage, it's like a daycare, where our children would go to. So our country unfortunately does not provide any daycare for these kind of people. So for us, it's like a play school and a daycare. The older ones study, and the younger ones are just playing around with some blocks, or doing some coloring, or just listening to the ABC the teacher is speaking.
Right.
And they get to eat something. You could also find a typical day that some of them, the tiny ones, are sleeping. So yeah, but at least they get to eat something and come out of their dingy, dark houses, and to a cleaner environment.
Yeah.
So there's some learning. It can't be a big learning in that sense, but yeah, those small tiny steps, I think, make a difference ultimately in a person's life.
Yeah, I would imagine they absolutely must. And I did connect with some of the older children that were coming more from the privileged families, some of the volunteers' children, I guess.
Yeah.
And they spoke English, and I was connecting with them, and one became a little translator for me, running around. It was really cute. And explained to me that she and her friend had a bake sale at school to raise money to help support Sunaayy, and that's just, it's just a win-win-win for everybody who gets involved. Everybody's benefiting in some way.
Yeah, and the fact that these children from the privileged backgrounds come and do this, and the fact that they're so, like this child you're talking about, she's in grade 6, and she told her mom that I am going to Richa auntie and I'm going to call my friends. So I did not know, and her mother called me, is it all right if she calls her friends? I was like, absolutely. If she's taking this responsibility to take pride in calling her friends, which means my work has gone to the next level.
Right.
So it's not limited to me. It's like a younger child saying that Sunaayy is mine, and I'm going to be involved in calling people, taking that responsibility, which is beautiful again,
right.
And if these children can come together and make a world which is more equity based, where everybody is an equal, I think we'll have less issues.
Certainly.
Yeah.
So it's 8 years now you've been running this, and it's been growing. So where do you see it going from here? How do you expand? What's the next? What does it look like down the road?
So we are certainly looking at individuals and corporates to come be a part of our journey. And since we run this as a makeshift temporary arrangement, we hold the classes in the government parks and employ children to be a part of our learning system here. So I think that this model is so simple that we can have these classes all over the city, invite people from the community to come and devote some time. So the responsibility is not just on one person like me, but it's taken care, split between many people, so they get to devote their time, spend their time doing something more meaningful, and while these children also get benefited. And ultimately nobody is really impacted, because these government parks that we have in our colonies are not used by us, because our children, our children have gone to school, or we are working, or inside our houses, so we don't use these parks. So at this time between 9 to 12, if we are using these parks to engage with these children, to teach them something, so I don't think so anybody is losing anything out here. While it's a beautiful project, come, join hands, devote some time in whichever way you can, and let's make this place a better place to live in.
Yeah, So
Yeah, simple.
I wonder what the number is of children, even just in Delhi alone, because Delhi has 10 million people, right, population. So how many children in Delhi are in need of this program, and how can you maybe scale it? I mean, can you create a template that you can share with other people to expand it?
Yes, so certainly the volunteer friends who helped me run the organization. So we have all those details, people who are willing to be a part of our journey and understand that we have kept things very simple and very transparent, where if we are raising money, so the money is typically goes in feeding the children or giving them clothes or giving them supplies, and not in in paying rent for a building. So it's very simple, and then we expect volunteers to, with whatever skill sets you have, if you can make a PPT for me, it's good. If you can introduce me to a corporate, it's good. So it's the other platform of volunteering that we are encouraging people to come and be a part of us in that sense. So it just makes things very easy. And right now, yes, we are looking at tying up with corporates where they can help us with some funds to organize these kind of classes, train people to organize these classes in multiple locations in the city, and maybe going forward multiple locations within the country.
Yeah,
it's so simple and doable, and keeps the cost limited for only few expenditures.
So looking at corporate sponsors to help you create trainings and have the funding to create trainings to expand the model, which is working so well.
Yeah, exactly.
We're really seeing the results here. And then if people are listening to this want to help, I mean, they can make a cash donation, and they could also come and be hands-on and help you here.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So we have a little website that we have. Again, my friends from school, they have helped making that, and they still, again, my friends are helping me maintain that website. So we have all details. Please feel free to connect with us, and we'll be happy to have you on board and be a part of our journey.
That's so beautiful. Okay, so to share the website with people, it's sunaayy.org.
It's sunaayfoundation.org.
sunaayfoundation.org. So that's sunaayfoundation.org. SUNAAYY foundation.org.
Absolutely.
So there you can connect with Richa and figure out how you can be a part of improving the lives of these beautiful children in India. I'm so amazed and impressed with their beauty, their eyes and their shining hearts, and they're so precious, and it's just immediately when you see them, your heart just expands, and it's just, you say, what can I do? And you're also giving people an outlet to be able to enact their karma yoga and be of service as well. So thank you for that. Thank you for answering the call to do this work. I'm so grateful to you for the work that you're doing and how you're showing up, and you're just making this happen. It's just incredible to witness it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Thanks so much for answering the call to be here today. I'm so glad you're part of our tribe of activated rainbow warriors. If you found the show in any way empowering or inspiring, I would be so grateful if you would share the show on social media or with friends and family that you think would benefit from these conversations. And also, rate and review the show in iTunes. This is really the very best way to help support the show and help us get noticed by others who are looking for the sort of content that we're sharing. Now notice there are no outside ads playing here. That's because the show is supported by you, the listener. You can become a patron of the show with a small monthly donation by checking out the perks on our Patreon page at patreon.com/visionary lifestyle and signing up there. There's also a one-time donation button on the podcast page of the website if that suits you better. And just so you know, your donations help to cover the necessary out-of-pocket monthly expenses to produce the show, and will also help us grow so we can inspire and educate even more people. And hey tribe, I'd love to hear from you. Visit me at visionary-lifestyle.com and please tell me your comments and questions. I really look forward to connecting with you. I love you. Namaste.